How do you know if a writer is capable of writing at a professional level?
If they move you emotionally, because it's about emotions. It's about making people feel something. And there's writers that could write to the form perfectly, and you read it and it's fine, but it doesn't make you feel anything. In the same way, like, I listen to music almost like a drug. Like, I'll listen to music that will get me hyped. I'll listen to music that will mellow me. Like, it moves you. You could use the audio experience to change your state of mind. Movies, in my opinion, could do the same way. There's movies that get you hyped and disturbed. Movies that will like make you kind of like have comfort food. They have qualities to them. And I think that the key to know if a writer is somebody that you want to work with is you are being affected. It's changing your state of mind in a powerful way. And if it's just the script and you read it and it's totally derivative, you just feel like it's like a bad cover band. Like, who wants to watch the cover band? You want to watch Kiss play, or whatever it is. You want to see ideally you want to see the purest form of that vision. And when I speak to the sense of a cover band is you want somebody's authentic voice. And that's what you're getting. You want the purest version of who they are. And that's going to get you really into their work if those hooks get in you, because you're feeling someone who's very unique is speaking to you through the work and changing your emotional, levels, and that's what art does. It affects you. So I think for me to gauge whether or not someone's professional is like, am I getting excited? Am I getting scared? Am I disturbed? Like is it influencing me? And if it's not, maybe I don't like the genre or whatever, or the tone, that's fine. Or maybe the writer needs to do another few rewrites to really refine, their vision.
So are there writers that are versions of cover bands? I mean, sometimes I've heard some amazing cover bands, by the way, but yes, sometimes it's a watered down version of your favorite artist. But are there cover band writers?
I don't know if there's exactly I would say purely a cover band writer, and there are awesome cover bands. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's some that really have their own, take on something, or kind of almost supernaturally capture the essence of a musician that you love, which is also really cool. I'm just saying that, maybe there's a version of a cover band that feels kind of hacky, that doesn't hit all the beats, doesn't have that, excitement, that intangible quality that made you fall in love with a band. They're good enough, right? And you're like, okay, I've seen that before. So why am I seeing it like this? It feels like the watered down version. That's different. There are writers that are very nostalgic, and in a lot of ways, they sample openly certain qualities that you might like from a movie from the 80s, but they make it their own. They're not like stealing from anything. They're extracting the essence of it. And then you're seeing something, you're seeing a point of view. So I guess that's what I would say is the point of view, maybe not a point of view on, let's say this is a point of view on a theme, that's a universal theme, and they talk about it. It could be a point of view on a genre. So maybe they're talking about slashers, but it's a really interesting hot take. It's in the same way you think of a great film critic could talk about a movie and really make you think about it and really feel something different about that movie. A writer that could have these perspectives, I wouldn't call a cover band. I would say they're offering insight into storytelling and maybe in a meta quality or something that's really fascinating. What I'm talking about here is somebody who's uninspired, that is not offering anything new to the intellectually or maybe emotionally. Then it's just, why do we need another X?
Okay. So it's like a cover band, if you said Kiss, so it's like you've gone to a bar and they're playing Detroit Rock City, but it's slow and it's kind of distorted, and you're like, almost, but not quite. Like, ooh, this almost hurts my ears. So it's the same thing. A writer's trying to emulate, let's say, J.K. Rowling, and they're trying, but it's like, no, I see what they're trying to do, and they're trying to emulate her voice.
They're emulating it without offering a new perspective. Because because in a lot of ways, like, certain creators are almost like I was saying, like critics, is they're using their work to almost be, to comment on a type of character or type of genre. And that actually, to me, is actually really interesting. Mine's like, my criticism of a certain type of writer is when they're not bringing anything new to the table. Their perspective is not defined, and then they're just recycling, and you really don't get anything out of it. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, like there's amazing cover bands, but I'm talking about the cover band where you're like, why don't I just watch the actual band? Like, that's the one, not someone that goes, oh my God, I thought I was there, or like, who's on stage, or wow, this is a crazy subversion of the song. Like the Pixies have had like a million covers of their big song, Where's My Mind? But the good covers really take you somewhere different.
Okay, so it kind of like almost like prog rock of something that wasn't
Yeah.
meant to be that way. And
Or
then
it
becomes
captures it beautifully. Like, I'm open to those things, but I'm talking about, the end of the day, the type of script that when I'm done reading, I don't get anything emotionally or intellectually new from my baseline experience.
How does the writer know that they are the original writer? That this is their voice?
They have to serve their perspective. In the same way, as a manager, I have to be honest to myself, what, material gets me, into the game and gets me, ready to like go out and start selling and pushing projects. I have to believe in it, It has to be real to me. And in a lot of ways, it has to be real to them. When you see a lot of filmmakers starting out, like in the early stages, like somebody might come out of film school and they may look to a director that they love and almost do their own version of a cover band, because they're just trying to learn the technology, they're learning the craft. But then as they mature, they advance beyond that, and then they start cultivating a voice. They may have certain genetic, quality, the genetics of their favorite filmmakers, but it's also a new statement they're making in the space that is only theirs.
Because I think we can all think that we're original, but if let's say I'm always reading Joyce Carol Oates novels, that I'm going to probably allow that to seep into my writing style and maybe not even be aware of it. So how do I know? Is it from feedback from outside sources? Is that the only way we really know if we're being authentic?
I think that, like, it's fine if somebody goes, I am a Alfred Hitchcock super fan and that's going to inspire my work. But it's where we go from there. Like, I think some people, could look at, the amount of filmmakers that one, auteur just influence. And there's just so many countless, students of this director, but it's what they do with it. Why is it interesting? And the only way to know how your work resonates is have people read it. So like, maybe somebody could write something that's in the vein of another creator, but what they end up making is still impactful. So you're measuring impact, not some type of purity test of originality. Is you give someone your script, they get moved emotionally and intellectually. That's what the goal is. So yeah, I don't want to make it so like I'm evaluating, does it have to be perfectly original or whatever that means. I don't know if that even means anything. I'm talking about, do people love the experience? Is it memorable? That's what matters. I don't want to get into like, that director sampled this and that. Like, to me, it's like, I don't care. I like collage artists. I like artists that take things. I like producers that produce music and they sample like other artists and they make something interesting. But they have to make something interesting. I think that's what I'm evaluating, is the experiential quality, not whether or not they, were clearly inspired by somebody else. That's not the metric.
Do you have an example of maybe a film you watched in college where it just it changed you somehow, for better or worse?
I don't think that like any movie like it's like a that I was actually changed, but I do see movies that I just get excited by, like, and I don't know if there was like some spiritual experience where I was like, whoa, everything's changed, but I do really love um, certain movies by John Waters or Tarantino or like Takeshi Kitano. Like I see what they could do, or Elaine May. Like there's people making things, and they're like, I don't know how they did that. It blew my mind. I mean, it's almost like if you're like a food critic and you go to some restaurant and you bite into something and you're like, whoa, what just happened here? Like there's something like something's going on. I can't put a finger on it, but it's really working. So I don't think there's this one thing. I think it's more of like a mix of a lot of different experiences. But I think when you're done with it, you're like, I want to watch every movie they made. Like I want to watch whatever they have next. Or if they're not live, I just want to move through their entire like library and check out what they have going on. So to me, that's how I feel. It's just you get excited. It's excitement. That's what we're measuring or not. It's not like we pull out our measuring stick and we go, we're measuring the perfect exact thing. It's like when you say holy shit, that is great and it's so good you want to tell everybody about it. That's how you know it matters, is that you want to share it with somebody. That's why I think it's kind of like when you want to push a movie on somebody else, it's not just like casually talk about a movie. Like there's a movie called Pale Flower. It's a Yakuza crime film, old black and white film. It's so good. I've influenced like 5 of my friends to watch it. So when you're getting other people to get into whatever you're into, that's how you know it worked. Obviously, but like that's how I know that a film has deeply resonated, is that I'm now representing the movie as a super fan.
Does it have subtitles?
Yes.
Oh, so it's a Japanese film? Mm-hmm. What year is it from?
Not sure. It was like something that like I found and then I just started pushing to people who I think would like it. So then I start like recommending it and telling everyone I know about it. So that's how I look at it, is that I don't have one special experience, but I just know the actual events that take place in my mind when I see a movie like that, or specifically I could point to a filmmaker where I'm like, that person's doing something really exciting, and then I just for the rest of my life I'm pushing that filmmaker or their movie on anyone in the earshot.